The world tells you to hustle, to respond, to prove you're alive by the trail of actions behind you. Wake up early, speak fast, fix everything, move. But deep within, there's a different intelligence, one that doesn't chase, one that doesn't panic, one that waits. This is not hesitation, this is timing. Most people confuse stillness with laziness, but the stillness is discipline. It's awareness, it's presence before motion. This is where all true power begins. Look around you. Water doesn't crash through the rocks by forcing itself. It follows the lowest path and still carves the canyon. A seed doesn't force itself open. It waits, it absorbs, and then, at the perfect moment, it breaks. And lightning, it doesn't wander. It strikes exactly where it's meant to. These are not examples of inactivity, these are examples of right action. Right action is not what the ego wants, it's what the moment calls for. There's an ancient pattern hidden in plain sight. It appears in the verses of poets, in the silence of sages, in the instincts of animals. It's the wisdom of non-forcing. The kind of movement that arises when nothing inside you is trying to prove, impress, or control. It's action without friction, decision without tension, flow without interference. You don't chase, you allow, you move when it's time, and you know when it's time, because your gut knows, your breath knows, your field aligns. In this world, this simulation, every action sends a signal. Every thought, every movement, every reaction. It's all interpreted by the system as a command. When you act in fear, the field responds in chaos. When you act in alignment, the field opens like a door already unlocked. This is the difference between living inside the noise and moving inside the structure. Most people act too early. They jump in because waiting feels like weakness. They fix things because silence feels like guilt. They force outcomes because uncertainty feels like death. But right action doesn't come from fear. It comes from a higher reading, from being able to sense, is this really mine to touch? Is this the right time? Or am I moving because I can't sit with stillness? There is a rhythm to this life. Not a schedule, not a plan, a rhythm. And the ones who go furthest are not the loudest, not the fastest. They're the ones who know when to move and when to wait. Here's what no one tells you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Not because you're afraid, but because interfering would be worse. Sometimes, the most courageous thing is to wait, to let the energy settle, to let the chaos pass. Because when the noise clears, what remains is the signal. And when you act on that signal, it's clean, it's sharp, it lands. Imagine the simulation like a vast sea of code. Everything you do sends out waves. Some create clarity, some create distortion. The more you act from fear, the more distorted your field becomes. The more you act from truth, the clearer your reflection. The code isn't judging you, but it is responding to you. That's why forcing always backfires, because it tells the system, I don't trust the flow. But when you wait until your action is clean, not reactive, not rushed, the system reads, stability detected, alignment confirmed, and then, everything moves with you. This is not about perfection, it's about precision. You don't need to do nothing, you need to do what's exact. No more, no less. Say what needs to be said. Act when your breath deepens, not when your chest tightens. Help when help is needed, not when guilt whispers that you must. You are not here to prove your existence by constant motion. You are not here to micromanage the flow of the universe. You are here to feel the rhythm and move with it. You are a part of the structure, not an exception to it. When you push beyond it, you suffer. When you ignore it, you rot. But when you listen, the structure carries you. Let go of the myth that only movement creates meaning. Let go of the fear that stillness makes you weak. Let go of the shame that says waiting is failure, and replace it with this. I move when it's time. I speak when it's clean. I act only when it feels true. Right action is the lost art of our age. It's not spoken of in headlines, it's not taught in schools, but you know it, you felt it. That moment when you didn't say what you almost said, and you were glad. That moment when you walked away instead of proving your point, and you felt stronger. That moment you waited one more day, and the answer came to you without force. That's right action, it doesn't leave a mess, it doesn't need to be explained, it leaves nothing to regret. In a world obsessed with performance, productivity, and presence online, you don't need to be louder, you need to be truer. When you act from alignment, you don't just change your life. You change the field around you. You bring harmony back into the system, you stop feeding the noise, and start amplifying the signal. This is not a suggestion, it's a reminder. You already know this, you feel it in your gut, you feel it in your breath, you feel it in the moments you almost ignored, but didn't. So trust it. Not the fear, not the pressure, not the noise, the knowing. Because it's not about doing more, it's about doing what's true. This is transcendent reality. Live the code.